Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to another astrology weather report for the week ahead. And this week we're looking at April 17th through to April 24th. So it's a big week. There is so much going on astrologically. So settle in, grab your hot chocolate or your cup of tea or your margarita, whatever tickles your fancy, and we're going to explore the heavens. But for a moment before we do, I just want to do a little promotion. They've finally arrived. I'm so pleased. Here we are, my little astrology wheels. There's the big one in the background, and this is the little fella. This guy, he spins. He's like this. He will spin, and he has these magnetic removable planets that you can put wherever they currently are in the chart. So that's fantastic. And the other thing I wanted to show you, give me 2 seconds here. I need 4 hands to be able to show you all that I want to show you with this little bloke, but and I'm going to be writing left-handed here, so bear with me, but this can be written on, which is really fantastic. So we can write, you know, love notes if you want to, or you can actually draw aspects between planets and or make some sort of notes, whatever you like, and rub it off again so that you've got a clear space for next time. So it's actually a lovely little tool to teach other people with. It's on a wooden spinning base, and it's metal with magnetic planets. So I've had so much fun designing this and getting it up and working. I hope you enjoy it. If you would like to buy one, all you need to do is contact me through the contact form on the Astrology Readers page, and or send me a message, and we can arrange for one of these little lovely numbers to head your way if you're interested in buying one. So now that we've done a bit of advertising, let's get stuck into the astrology, the real reason we're all here. Well, these are the energies. I'm going to use my notes because there's just so much to explore in this week's sky. We've got Mercury moving into the sign of Aries, and this is going to take place on the 18th of April. So Thursday if you're in my part of the world. But the 18th of April, Mercury goes into Aries. Mercury is going to leave Pisces, where he's been doing a retrograde dance for quite some time now. So this is going to be a big shift of energy. And I'll talk about these in a minute. I'm going to go through what the energies are, and then I'm going to talk about what they all mean for us personally and collectively. Then on the 19th, so the day after Mercury moves into the sign of Aries, the first sign of the horoscope, we've got this beautiful full moon in Libra. This is a very interesting little energy as well. This is on the 19th, so the sun will be in Aries and the moon will be exactly opposite it in Libra. And then the third energy is that the sun, not long after he's made this full moon aspect with the moon, obviously enough, he's going to be moving on the 21st of April into the sign of Taurus. He's going to leave Aries and move into Taurus. And then on the same day, not very long after that, Venus is going to move into Aries. She's going to leave Pisces. So everybody's winding up their time in a certain sign where they've been doing tremendous things, and they're bringing a culmination to, like in this case, Mercury, Sun, Venus. They're finishing their time in the sign they've been in for quite some time and directing their energy elsewhere. So it's a really, really interesting week with so many planets changing signs. So Venus into Aries also on the day that the sun moves into Taurus. And then this is the energy I'm going to talk about at the end of this reading, where I'm going to go through every single sign and look at what's happening and what it means personally for you. And we're going to be looking at the sun making a conjunction with Uranus in the sky. Now, the reason I've chosen to talk about this energy at the end of this video is simply because I love talking about the outer planets. The further out you go with the planets in the sky, the stronger and more powerful their impact becomes on us. So sometimes, you know, we'll have a transit of Venus across a certain point in our chart, and we hardly even feel a shift. We hardly notice a change. That's because the planets like Mercury, Venus, not so much Mars, but certainly Mercury, Venus, and the moon, they move really swiftly. And so their energy has less time to build and play out. But something like Pluto, he packs a punch because he moves so slowly, and the energy just builds and builds and builds wherever he is in the horoscope. So the further out you go from Earth, the stronger the energies of the planet. So when we're looking at Uranus here connecting with the sun, we know that it's going to make an impact. This is a once annual event when the sun is conjunct with Uranus, and so we can expect something significant to unfold for us on this day, and that happens to be the 23rd of April. So let's make a start. Firstly, we're going to have this little fellow here. This is Mercury moving into the sign of Aries, which, just for the sake of my future reading in this video, I've got the rising sign arrow there in Aries. Just you know, it can fall anywhere in your chart, wherever your rising sign happens to be. Actually, maybe I'll just take him down for now so that we can focus on what I'm talking about at hand. We'll use that later. Okay, so Mercury's moving into Aries. What does this mean? Well, Mercury is our mental capacity. Mercury is how we think, how we speak, how we learn, how we even teach others and inspire others with our words. It's very words-based. It's communication. This is Mercury. And so therefore he's correlated to things like advertising, where we have to be a good wordsmith. Marketing, social media, working in networks is very Mercury. So he governs the social media realm. And obviously that's a big place for lots of words, good or bad or otherwise. So anything to do with speaking and communicating with other people are going to receive a shift in energy and shift in energetic focus when Mercury goes into Aries. So your mental activity is going to be really energized. Why is this? Well, Mercury is mental activity. Aries is the first sign of the horoscope. It is energy, it is enthusiasm, it's entrepreneurship, it's courage, it's valor, it's independence. So we're going to have all these Aryan energies combining with our mental processes over the next little while Mercury is in Aries. So obviously we're going to be more energized. If we're looking for energy in our chart, we look at Aries and Mars. Mars rules Aries. Aries, the sign, is where we can get energized in life. And so here is Mercury, our mental capacity as a collective, moving into Aries. So our mental energy is going to be energized. It's going to be fired up. We're going to be enthusiastic mentally, and we're going to be quite switched on mentally. That is going to be really, really good. The thing to watch out for is just overactivity in the brain, you know, when you can't turn it off and you're lying in bed at night and your mind just won't shut up. So you go and put a video from Astrology on or something else on YouTube and let it play, and you fall into sleep because that's those soothing voices that you hear. But this is what we're talking about here. Mercury in Aries means your energy, your mind is going into overdrive. It doesn't have to mean, you know, you're going to lie awake for hours, but your mental activity is going to be increased. You're also going to be more courageous. This is a quality of Aries. It's the warrior. It's the god of war. It's the hero. It's the knight in shining armor type energy and archetype. So in goes Mercury into this archetype, and so suddenly you're going to become more courageous, more valiant, if you like, with your speech. And this is a great thing to have happening collectively at the moment. We know we've got up here Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node are all conjunct up in the sign of Capricorn. And so we're seeing a lot of upheaval. I talked about this recently with Heather from Beyond Astrology. We're seeing a lot of upheaval in the skies, but playing out on the earth, as above, so below, regarding hierarchies and structures and things where you know, the governments and the authority figures are gripping onto their sense of control and power. I talked, well, I'll use an illustration. In Australia, we have a wonderful, there's a wonderful YouTube channel run by a Melbourne University, ex-Melbourne University lecturer, regarding, you know, he's exposing the corruption in our country and also in other countries around the world, including the United States, where I know a lot of viewers are. This YouTube channel is called The Juice Media. I highly recommend checking it out. But he is exposing the corruption that is at the root of white-collar crime and political crime that is unfolding in every country. Not just, we think third world countries are corrupt. We think third world countries are struggling with grasping at power in the political systems there. It's happening at every level in every country. And this wonderful website, which I really would promote, he's doing a fabulous job, such a good job at exposing to the general public in a very satirical, humorous way the underbelly of political corruption. He's doing such a good job at this that the government in Australia attempted to pass a bill, it didn't succeed fortunately, but attempted to pass a bill to prevent anyone from criticising the government. What's that sound like? It sounds like Nazi Germany in the 1930s, or any government where there's no freedom of speech. And so this is occurring, and this is all part of the movement that we're seeing with Pluto in Capricorn, and particularly being triggered now with the nodes and with Saturn. But I mention this because while this is playing out, while this is going on, we've now got Mercury moving into Aries, and my sharing this online is probably a very good forerunner or example of what this is going to be about. People will speak out courageously about corruption, about the things they see that are unfair and unjust in the world. People are going to use their words now and their communication to be courageous, to be warriors, to be fighters for a just cause, as Mercury now moves into the sign of Aries. So if you are passionate about something that you really feel you need to speak out about, be wise, be cautious. We live in interesting, quite dynamic and changeable times due to this happening up here in the chart. But do take the opportunity, if you can do so intelligently and with wisdom, and and try and employ some integrity as well. This is a time when you can speak courageously what needs to be said. Now, that said, we also need to watch out for a war of words. Mercury in Aries. Aries is the god of war. Mercury is words and speech. So watch out for wars of words. Now, this can be, we'll probably notice it maybe at a political level, on the, up in the mainstream media and so forth, but it can also happen in the home. It can also happen in the family. It can also happen in the workplace. Watch out for putting your foot in your mouth and antagonizing situations, stirring up trouble with your words. Just be really, really cautious of this, especially at the moment. I have noticed rage, oh my God, rage amongst people is just so close to the surface at the moment. And that'll also be tied into what is playing out up there in Capricorn. People's rage that has been buried for, in some cases, like since the last time Pluto was in Capricorn with Saturn, like we're talking hundreds of years, and maybe through many incarnations that human beings have had karmically, there is a rage deep in their core now. And this is very close to the surface because of this triggering that is occurring in Capricorn. Rage is there. I was down the street the other day, just to tell you a story, and I was in the post office, and this man came in and just for no reason started abusing the postal worker behind the counter, a young woman about, well, I say young, she was my age, but a woman behind the counter. And I have been in situations where I've observed this sort of thing going on before, and usually, the old adage, the customer is always right. You stand there, you take it, you put up with the shit. Well, this woman did not take it, and she fired up back at this guy and kicked him out of the store. And I'm like, my God, the rage is in people is so palpable. That was just a physical manifestation of what I think is really under the surface right now. So we do have to be careful with our words all across the globe right now, because the rage in people, the frustration, the anger at the injustices in the world, the anger at the hierarchies that take and don't contribute to the betterment of society, it's really close to the surface. It is about ready to boil over, and we may see that in the coming days with future conjunctions of Pluto and Saturn. But the rage is just so ready to go. So watch out for what you say. Be integrous in what you say. Try to think before you speak when Mercury is in Aries. People's words at this time, they're going to trigger emotions in people, feelings in people, that and we could see all-out war simply because of some communication that was misunderstood or said in error, or where there was a lot of thinking before talking. So be wise, be wise, be wise. It's interesting, like I said, interesting times. All right, let's move into a different energy. We're now going to look at the full moon that's going to be occurring in the sign of Libra. Now, I've got my little board a bit ahead of itself. There is the sun at the last degrees of Aries, and here is the moon, which will be at the latter degrees of Libra, and this is going to be on the 19th of April. So I want, whenever we have a full moon, we need to reflect. It's a time for looking at what's happened over the last 2 weeks since we had a new moon in the sign of Aries over here. What happened 2 weeks ago when there was a new moon? What did you sow? This is actually a very rare full moon, actually, because we had a full moon, the first full moon of the solar year fell at the early degrees of Aries and the early degrees of Libra. And we don't often see it happen that we have a full moon in the same sign at this, within that 30-day period that the sun is in this case, Aries. So we had a full moon back here. That was the beginning of this full cycle of the moon around the horoscope, and now it's come back to the same position, or to the position opposite the sun at the latter degrees of Aries and the latter degrees of Libra. So this is a very rare occurrence to have two full moons in the same sign within that 30-day period. It's a rare occurrence, so this is a special new moon. So remember back to 2 weeks ago. What did you sow at that time? This is harvest time. Full moon is a harvest period. It's like now we reap what we've sown. So what were you doing, back 2 weeks ago? Whatever was planted 2 weeks ago, you're harvesting in a minor way now. But if you recall my video from 2 weeks ago, I spoke about there being one of the most auspicious days in the year, when the sun was exalted in Aries and the moon would be exalted in Taurus. This happened, I think it was 2 to 3 days after the new moon. So whatever you sowed, is that the right word? Whatever you sowed on around the time of the new moon, doesn't have to have been exactly bang on the same day. In fact, usually a couple of days later is more effective because the moon starts to become visible again instead of being hidden by the sun. So whatever you sowed around that time of that great auspicious day when the two luminaries were exalted, that is what is going to blossom and grow and bear fruit for you over the next year. And so this minor harvest now is occurring regarding what you sowed then, and we can expect that in the coming year you are going to reap a big harvest that correlates to this minor harvest that is occurring right now. So this is the first fruits. By the end of the year, like when the sun is in Aries next year, 2020, your harvest of what was sown on this auspicious day is going to be complete. Now, let's use an example. Maybe 2 weeks ago, you sowed seeds of support for someone else's business. Maybe you hired them to do something for you, or you publicized them or promoted them, out of the goodness of your heart because they did a good job for you, they inspired you, they uplifted you, they did a great service for you, and so you put a promotion and a thank you on Facebook, or you left a review for them or something like that. You invested and sowed seeds in the life of someone else to help support and love someone else. That is a beautiful thing to have sown. And so you could be reaping now a minor harvest from that, where your own business is feeling more abundant at the moment, and you're feeling blessed, and somebody's promoted your work or shared a review, done a review on your services, and it's come back to you. The harvest has come back from the seeds you sowed 2 weeks ago. Now, what can then play out is over the coming year, this is amplified. This is amplified, and over a full year, you get to this time next year and your harvest is abundant. You've got all these clients who are so grateful for the work you've done, or they've left reviews for you on Facebook, or your business has blossomed and grown exponentially because of the kindness of other people supporting your business in the way that you supported somebody else's business back 2 weeks ago. So do you see how this works? Whatever you sow, you will reap. If you want to sow hatred and bitterness and anger towards people, well, you'll be receiving a minor harvest of that right now, and the harvest is only going to grow for you with those things over the coming year. So let's do a review now at this time of full moon. Full moon's a great time to review. What did you sow 2 weeks ago that you're now reaping a harvest of? Can you correlate anything and see the linkages? And then you know what to expect in your life over the coming few months towards a full moon, a full year harvest season. So that's the energy of the moon that I can see playing out. Now, the next thing we wanted to look at was the sun moving into Taurus. So I'll just move him into Taurus. There he is. He's very, very close to Uranus there at the moment. Let's sit him straight. Okay, the sun represents our confidence. The sun represents our ego, our self-love, our creativity as well. And our self-expression is seen by the sun. It's where we shine. Wherever the sun is in your chart, that's the area of life pertaining to the house placement. That's the area of life that you will shine and glow in. Now, I'm not going to go through what it means to have the sun in each separate house, but maybe down the track I'll do a video on that sort of thing. But that's where you're going to shine. And so we are going to be feeling now with the sun and our confidence, representing confidence, ego, da-da-da, in the stable, solid sign of Taurus, we're going to feel more stable, more loving, more steady towards ourselves and towards others. So this is actually a beautiful benefit that's going to come into play after Mercury moves into Aries, and with all that volatility. The sun might be just saying, okay, put your ego in check, calm down, don't let yourself be too oversensitive and get out of control here. Let's go steady. So this is going to happen a couple of days after after Mercury moves into Aries. A couple of days later, on the, what have we got, the 21st, the sun will move into Taurus, and this will steady the ego play. You know, Taurus is very solid, very calm, very strong, and self-assured. So we're going to get a bit of a relief. But those 2 days in between, watch out. You know, careful of that foot in the mouth. Especially if your ego is getting triggered, you'll tend to put your foot in your mouth with your words a bit more readily. So just be careful on those couple of days in between before the sun moves into the sign of Taurus. Now, as Taurus rising people or Taurus sun or moon people, they're going to notice this especially. So they'll start to feel a bit more steady, a bit more stabilized, a bit more grounded, a bit more self-assured. So this is a beneficial time for people who have a strong Taurus in their chart. I'm really glad I've got 2 children who have Taurus playing out rather strong in their chart. So I'm glad they're going to feel a bit more grounded, a bit more steady. Thank goodness for that. It affects us all, doesn't it? But we need to keep in mind that even though this is going to steady things a bit, that the sun is actually not in good dignity in the sign of Taurus. And there's a good reason for this. The sign of Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus. Now, Venus is connected to relationships. It's about collaborating with others, sharing with others, partnering with others. It's very Libran, but Venus does rule both Libra and Taurus. So that idea of partnership and relationship is connected with the planet Venus, which rules Taurus. And the sun, it's about the self, it's about the ego, it's about me. The shadow side of the sun is egocentricity, selfishness, narcissism. These are the shadow sides of sun energy. So when you've got one, the ruling planet of Taurus is all about relationship and the sun's all about me, it's kind of like the oil and water. They don't mix too well. They're a bit polaric. So that is why the sun is not considered to be in brilliant dignity when it's in Taurus. So we just have to, watch that feeling of being a bit out of place, out of sorts, that might happen, especially with our relationships. Things might be not quite gelling as well as they should do or might usually do. Maybe we're a bit too ego focused during the time Taurus, the sun is in Taurus, and we're thinking about the ego and not thinking about the relationship, or vice versa. We're thinking too much about the relationship and not putting enough emphasis on your own self-worth. So it's like oil and water, things aren't mixing as well as they should, but with consciousness we can integrate the two better. Okay, so now you're aware, you can pay attention to that in your own personal life. But however, you can feel at this time more connected to the earth, to the environment. You can be revitalized by nature, by being out in nature. The sun is our life force. The sun helps the natural world to grow and flourish. Without it, there is no life on earth. So you can balance yourself by getting out in the sunshine, if you've got it. Hopefully everyone's got a bit of sunshine and not doom and gloom and rainy skies too much. So get out in the sunshine and surround yourself by, you know, nature, by the outdoors, by gardening. Like, you don't have to jump in the car and go to visit a national park or anything, although that's often a really fun thing to do. But by gardening, by doing a little veggie patch on your balcony, eating organic food, or directing your life force energy, remember the sun is our life force energy, towards anything sustainable in your life. So creating a more sustainable approach to you know, the food that you eat, growing your own, or recycling things, doing things that are better for the earth. It's a really great time while the sun is in Taurus to redirect your energy, your life force, to making things more sustainable in your own life, as well as the community and in the environment in general. So it's a good time to focus on those things. All right, where are we up to? Oh, Venus in Aries. That's the next energy. So let's move lovely Venus into the sign of Aries, where Mercury is already going to be. And this is happening on also the same day that the sun moves into Taurus. The sun's going to move into Taurus, and then Venus is going to move into Aries. So this is actually really kind of cool, because Venus is in good dignity in Aries. So Aries is the energy of the young man, shall we say, Mars energy. It's vigorous, it's sexual, it's desire, it's passion, excuse me, it's courageous, it's the warrior. And Venus is the goddess, the love, it's about relationships. So Mars is the masculine relationship energy that's very passionate and desirous and sexual, and Venus is the complementary feminine energy that's like the young woman energy of beauty, of love, of refinement, of culture, and relationship and collaboration and partnership. So these two go together really well. They're not oil and water, they're great. So when we've got Venus in Aries, we can be more passionate in our love lives. You know, this is a time when we'll be more enthusiastic about connecting with our partner. If we're so blessed to have a partner in our lives, we can be more enthusiastic about that, courageous about, you know, making a move in the bedroom or something like that. We're going to be more enthusiastic, more switched on, more amped up, more alive, more invigorated. So it's a beautiful energy to have relationally while Venus is in Aries, and you might find that your love life really takes off. And if you're single, you need certain triggers going on in your personal chart. This is not sufficient alone to bring a love into your life. There needs to be much more than this happening in the chart. That said, if you do have things happening in the chart that can trigger people coming into your lives, this is a really lovely energy to meet somebody under, if you've got other supporting factors in your chart. So you can meet someone if your chart supports it, and if you do, this is a really lovely energy, a uniting of passion and desire with refinement and culture and partnership. Beautiful. And it's actually, if you think about the archetypes for these two, it's courageous and heroic, Aries energy, courageous and heroic. And you can be courageous and heroic regarding love at this time. So you might be, let's say, a young man who watches these videos, and you're like, oh, I've met this girl, you know, at uni, or, you know, she's at my workplace or whatever, and I really, you know, I'd love to ask her out. Now's the time. Venus in the courageous and heroic sign of Aries is a great time to instigate, initiate, start new things. This is the first sign of the general zodiac. Aries is the first sign, and with the planet of love there, you're going to have the enthusiasm to initiate, to start, to begin. a new relationship. So embrace that courageous energy and be bold and make the first move. It's a really lovely, playful time too. Aries is play and Venus is love. So playful love making is on the cards if you want it to be. And be playful about your approach to relationship and your approach to love. So lots and lots of fun. But this is the mingling of the goddess energy. Venus is the goddess of love, and the hero energy, because Mars and Aries, they're the gods of war. In ancient mythology, they're the hero, you know, they're the Superman, the superhero kind of Marvel comic kind of person. That's what we would see as an archetype for Aries/Mars. So when Venus is in Aries, it's the meeting of the goddess, it's with the hero. How beautiful is that? And very timely too. For those who watch Astrology videos, you will know that there was Natalia did a fabulous, she's done quite a few lovely videos over the last week, and she spoke about being the goddess, allowing yourself to be the goddess so that you can invoke the hero. You don't have to be the hero if you're a woman. You need to have the hero because you have the hero come into your life because you are the goddess. So it was a beautiful message that she shared, and I thought, wow, that's so timely, because here goes Venus, the goddess, into the sign of the hero, Aries. I love it. I love the synchronicity. The universe works in very wise and sometimes very mysterious ways. So now's the time to be the hero or be the goddess. If you're a man, be the hero. Take courage. Go and ask that woman out on a date. Or if you're in a partnership, go and be the hero of your relationship and love your goddess, love your woman. And women, allow men the space to do this. Be the woman who treats her man like a hero and who allows him space to be the hero of her life. So yeah, it's a fun time. Now, the ultimate, I guess, bottom line message of this little bit of energy action that's taking place is just that. This is a time for taking action. Mars is an action sign. It's Aries, I'll get it right. Aries is a fire sign. It's about action. It's about momentum. It's about doing. So here, it's telling us it's time to take action regarding relationships and also finances. Venus is finances as well. So take action in your love life. Take action with your finances and your money and how you earn it and so on. Take action with your self-worth. Venus is self-worth and self-valuing. Take action. So if you need to go and do a short course or to sort of boost your self-worth and self-value, do that. If you need to invest in something new financially because your finances haven't been so good, or if you need to change jobs now because you're not being appropriately remunerated, then take action. This is a time that you can really do those things because the stars are supporting you to do that in a general way. Take action also, we've alluded to this, with your love life too, and you'll reap the benefits. And I say in a general way because each person's chart is unique. Okay, and this kind of leads into the next thing I want to talk about. Each person's chart is very unique to them. And so here, when I give these talks, we are looking at the general collective energy. What is out there generally happening in the sky at the moment? And if your chart supports connecting with that energy, then you can manifest exactly these things that I'm talking about. If you've got some sort of a blocking energy, then you will find that what I'm talking about doesn't come into your life. So, I get a lot of comments on my videos saying, oh, this didn't happen for me, you're not right, or your predictions are inaccurate. That's actually not the case. It's the difference between getting a personal reading that looks at your personal chart and the personal things that are playing out for you versus collective for the whole globe right now. So sometimes it's going to hit on the mark and sometimes it's not. And we need to be a bit more flexible and roll with what comes. But the next thing I want to look at, and this ties in, is the Sun is going to conjunct Uranus on the 23rd of April. And so I'm going to go through what this means for all signs, but I'm just going to, since we're talking about the effect of personal charts versus the collective chart that's at play at the moment, I want to illustrate something. Currently, this is just a little example from my life. Currently, we've got here on the 23rd, Sun conjunct with Uranus. I had to stop and think what planet it was. Uranus. Okay, and so this is going to bring a certain energetic influence to the collective, what's out there, what's energetically available for people to tap into. But in my chart, I've got my sun here at 2 degrees of Leo. What this means is when these two conjunct, there is going to be an exact square to my sun. So yes, there is going to be an energetic influence playing out for everybody here, but it's going to be very, very different for me personally, because this conjunction makes an exact, to the degree, 90-degree aspect to my natal sun position. So for me, the energy is different. And for you, like maybe you've got your moon here, maybe you've got your moon up here, squaring it from this direction. Maybe you've got your moon exactly opposite. Maybe you've got your Mercury opposite. Everybody's chart is different and unique, and so defining this energy as it plays out specifically to the minute detail for everyone, it's an impossibility. There are billions of people on the planet. You can't physically do that in a 1-hour reading, or at all for that matter. So what we do when we're sharing online astrologically like we are now in this video, we're looking at a general thing that is available for people to tap into. And some people will feel it and some people won't. But keep listening to these readings that we do, because you're bound to strike one that's going to trigger some action in your own chart at some point. So let's go through what it means to have Uranus conjunct with the sun for everybody. Firstly, we'll talk about what it means to have Uranus conjunct the sun. Now, this is an energy that can bring dramatic change into your life. Uranus is bang, sudden, like explosive changes. The sun is dramatic, like I'm on stage and oh, woe is me. That's the sun. It's dramatic change, okay? These are the energies of these two planets. So you can find dramatic change happens for you on this day, the 23rd of April. It can actually bring new interests into your life as well. You know, you might suddenly discover that you really want to research the history of drama in Renaissance England or something, you know. Actually, in the sign of Taurus, Taurus is connected in many ways to collections of things. History can play into this as well. So you might very well channel the energy of research, which is Uranus, of things from the past. Taurus is lineages and that sort of thing, and cultural collections, and you might want to research those areas. And the sun will bring new invigoration and new hobbies of that realm, because the sun is connected to the 5th house, which rules hobbies. So it's a melding of all these different things that can play out. So you might discover you have new interests, curiosity about something that you weren't curious about before. You might also find that your creativity and your creative expression and your self-expression becomes much more original, much more experimental, much more unique. This is because the sun is creativity and Uranus is experimental, and it is quirky and really left of center. So your creativity can really take on a whole new dynamic now. Also, this energy can be very freeing as well. You might suddenly decide, I don't give a damn about what other people think. That's very much Sun-Uranus connection. You're your own person. The sun is our identity. It's our ego. It's our self-confidence. And suddenly, your self-confidence is not going to be dependent on what other people think of you. With the conjunction with Uranus, Uranus is like, I don't care what you think. You can do what you like, you know, I'm doing it my way. And so with the sun here, you're going to be like, I don't care. This is what I think. My self-confidence is not dependent on what you think. And this is the big, strong take home that we can grasp from this energy. Your self-confidence, your self-worth, your ego is not dependent on what others think. That's the big one. But you also might, you might actually find that there are maybe some captivating, intriguing, sort of even unique male figures that come into your life. The sun is a masculine energy. It's actually, excuse me, connected to the father, the energy of the father. So there might be sort of patriarchal figures that come into your life during this time. They manifest suddenly, and then they may disappear suddenly as well. But that could be someone who's in a position like a mentor, somebody who is helping you build something in your life, or a boss or something like that. And they have a fatherly approach to you, but they're very quirky and left of center and unique. So these are some things that can play out as well. And it is a time, because the sun in general is connected to most people's careers. The reason being, the sun is where we shine, where we get our sense of self-worth and self-value. And so we often connect our career to the sun and the sun's placement in the chart. So we can be a bit more instinctive now. Uranus is our instinct. It's our connection to the divine realms in light bulb moments and electrical downloads. When we get goosebumps, we're like, oh yeah, that's true. You think something and then your body reacts and sort of comes into alignment with what you're thinking. So you might be more instinctual about your career. You might be instinctual about a career move. You might be instinctual about a new project at work that you can make really worthwhile and take off, and you've got a new idea for a problem at work that hasn't been been able to be solved, and you come up with this ta-da light bulb moment, and everything starts to run smoothly. So you can have all these sorts of things play out for you with the sun and Uranus conjunct. Okay. I'm just checking my notes, bear with me. All right, let's go through all signs. So we're looking at big change, freedom and liberation, especially from the opinions of others, and great creativity. So for Aries people, this is going to happen in your second house, Taurus. If you're Aries rising, you can also, if you really want to, you can incorporate, forget the rising and pretend that your sun's there, and like, oh yes, okay, my sun's in Aries, so therefore this is happening in my second house. If you want to do it with your sun, if you want to do it with your moon, it's entirely up to you. But just so you know, the most important placement in anyone's chart is the rising sign. It's far more influential. It sets up where the houses fall in your chart, and therefore what the influences will be on your life. The rising sign is the most important, but I'm not here to elaborate on why that is or explain technically why that is. We're going to look at Sun Uranus conjunction in Taurus, and this is for Aries rising people. So you're going to be creative with money. You're going to come up with new innovative ideas and perhaps some freeing ideas to get your to get the money rolling in your life, to liberate yourself from maybe debt that you might have. So financial liberation, financial freedom. You're going to be very creative about ways out of maybe problematic financial circumstances. You'll get some light bulb moments and ideas about how to make it work for you, how to make your resources more effective in your life, and you might bring big change. This is, remember, big dramatic change can occur in a financial level. So you might have been trying to launch a product for ages, and nobody's buying it, and then Sun conjunct Uranus, boom, away you go. You get some big sudden change around some sort of resources or money-making venture that you've been trying to put into place and share with people. It might just be resources even at home, like you've been budgeting and tightening the belt and doing the best you can, and suddenly Uranus conjunct Sun, and you suddenly get a creative impulse. Oh my goodness, I could actually my daughter, she sews scrunchies. They're little funny little hair ties that we did back in the 90s when I was in my youth, and it's come back around again as a fad. And she sews those and sews those and sells them to her friends at the school. So you might be like, oh, I could sew this or build that or make this and have a market stall and make money. So you're going to be very invigorated. Wherever Uranus is, we get invigorated. You're going to be very invigorated with regard to money making ventures. So there can be big change, there can be freedom and liberation, and great creativity, usually connected to finances. This is also a house that's connected to self-worth and self-value as well. So you can experience big change regarding your self-worth and freedom, and becoming more authentic regarding how you see yourself, how you value yourself, and more more creative with how you express your self-worth in the world, you know. We could definitely see, if I use that analogy of making things and going and selling them, we could definitely see that your self-worth and self-value could come from making the decision to put your creativity to good use and put it out there for the world. So you could enhance your sense of self-value by doing that sort of thing. And certainly when we are reaping good rewards for the work that we do in life, our self-worth increases. When we are unemployed, when we can't find a job, when, you know, you've applied for, and this is my story, I'm telling it, you know, when you've applied for 20 jobs, you've had maybe 10 interviews and you keep getting rejected every time, your self-worth is down in your boots. So when we are generating, you know, the ability to support our family, this is the house of being safe, of being secure, of being stable. When we are generating enough income to support our family and to make life work for us, our self-esteem naturally rises up well out of our boots. So you're going to get big change, freedom, liberation, and generally great creative ideas regarding boosting your self-worth and how you support your family and creating stability and security in your life. All right, next sign. Shall we go forwards or backwards, folks? I think I'm going to be a stickler for tradition. Taurus doesn't like change too much, so we'll go, seeing as we're talking about, you know, Uranus and the sun in Taurus, we'll go with tradition. We could have gone the other way and said that it was Uranus who doesn't like tradition. Actually, Taurus, it's not that Taurus doesn't like, it's not that Taurus likes tradition, it's just that Taurus is very stable and solid and not in a hurry to make big changes. Okay, so we've got Taurus rising, so this is happening in the first house, this energy. So big change is just going to come to your life, you Taurus rising people in general, and it's going to be freeing and it's going to be liberating and it's going to give you a boost of creativity, creative juices, creative capacity. Now, the first house is the house of survival. It's where it's how you survive, and if you're Taurus rising, you're going to be very solid and secure and like stability in your life. Having money, having a stable relationship, having that security is very important to Taurus rising people. Because this is the house of survival, how we survive in life, how we thrive. It's also how we journey through our life, and you're going to want that steadiness, that calmness, that stability when you have Taurus rising. So just a heads up, you guys, for Taurus rising, you've got Uranus transiting your house this next 7 years, and stability, calmness, you know, no change, that's not going to happen. The next 7 years can be a bit of a challenge for you guys, because Uranus is a planet of change and big, sudden, unexpected change, and change that liberates us from our shackles internally and externally. And so you can experience a bit of upheaval over the next 7 years, Taurus rising people. But this week, you've got the sun here. So there can be big change to maybe how you're surviving, how you are thriving. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. Maybe your ability to survive has been really thwarted and hampered, and it's bringing you down and making you feel like I just described a moment ago for Aries rising people. It makes you feel like crap. Along comes the sun conjunct with Uranus, and suddenly you get a big change where your circumstances, your ability to survive and thrive, and your ability to journey through life with Taurian calmness and steadiness and solidness, it gets a boost. Something comes into your life, you get offered a new job, or you get offered a promotion, or a partner comes into your life that helps steady the crazy energy that you've got around relationships, or something can happen that's going to cause big change in your journey through this lifetime, in your bodily incarnation. It's going to be freeing, it's going to be liberating. You're also not going to worry so much about what will other people think. This is a good thing. And creativity. This is a very creative house. It's your house, the first house. So your creativity is going to be really amped up, and you'll probably have creative ways, creative ideas for how to make your life journey more blessed, more wonderful, more prosperous, more abundant. The sun is going to give you that life force energy that you can put to creating a more stable, solid journey for your future. So it's a really good time where you'll be invigorated a great deal on this day regarding your stability and your ability to survive and thrive. Next, we want to have a look at Gemini rising people. So Gemini rising people, it's going to sit? No, it's not. That's right, Gemini, Sagittarius axis, they like to move around, and so does my board when it gets there. So for Gemini rising people, obviously this energy is going to fall into the 12th house, and this is where big changes can occur spiritually for you guys. So, you know, Gemini rising people, they've got Uranus there for the next 7 years in their house of spirituality, house of divine creativity and divine miraculous sort of touching the hem of his garment kind of healing that we can see in the 12th house. So you can experience with this connection that's going to occur big change spiritually. You might get, in fact, I'd nearly put money on the fact that Gemini rising people are going to have big spiritual insights in the coming week with this connection. They're going to suddenly, you know, those times when you're like, aha, everything finally makes sense. Finally, I get it. Now I know why. Spiritual insights that are going to help you on your evolutionary journey and help you leave karma behind. This is the house of karma. So this is a very, very powerful connection that's going to occur for you guys, Gemini rising. So big change spiritually, karmically, you're going to get insights, maybe a redirecting of your spiritual trajectory can also happen as well, but it's going to be liberating. So there's nothing to fear with this. You're going to get insights that empower you, that set you free, that make you more authentic when we have this connection happening. It's also going to give you a great capacity for creativity, because this is a house of divine creativity. We're talking like the kind of music that takes your soul to another dimension. That's created in 12th house energy. So you, with the sun, the most creative, it's the most creative planet, because it is like, look at it, it's look at the sun in the sky. Literally, it causes life to flourish on earth. It is a creative energy force. So here is the creative energy force combining with unique, eccentric, brilliant creative energy of Uranus in the house of divine creativity. Gemini people can expect downloads of creativity that are out of this world when this conjunction happens on this day. You can be looking, you know, in your life, you'll probably notice suddenly you will get the inspiration to paint a masterpiece, or to write that song that's been just on the tip of your, and it's just not coming, and then bang, on this day, download of gorgeous, divine, soul transcending type music that comes to you. Or any other type of creativity, you know, a book or a film or a photograph, or anything you create, a beautiful new dress or whatever you like to create, but it can come to you in waves of divine download around this time when the sun conjuncts Uranus in the 12th house Taurus. So also for Gemini rising people, like the 12th house is divine healing, miraculous healing. So look, this doesn't play out for everybody, but you know, miracles are rare, but they do come from the 12th house divine energy. So for you Gemini rising people, the capacity to experience a divine creative miracle in your life, you may experience this. And if you do, please write about it. Please write about it on this video in the comments section, because it's important that we share these kind of really dynamic energies such as divine miraculous healing with the world, so we understand how they work better. So divine healing in a miraculous, liberating, freeing way can occur, particularly at a soul level, for Gemini rising people. Okay, and it will be linked to karma, I will just add as well. Cancer rising people, okay, this is putting the energy into the 11th house. So there can be big changes with your friendships, you know. Maybe you've had a best friend, you've been best friends for 20 years, and this energy comes along and you're like, whoa, this energy, this friendship's now got a totally different dynamic, you know. Maybe you want to have a bit less to do with them, although generally you'd need Saturn playing in that would sort of restrict and block and maybe even end the energy of friendship. But there can be a big change to friendships that's going to be freeing and a bit more making the friendship authentic. So that might mean ending a relationship or a friendship. It may also mean going deeper with the friendship, establishing it more. You might have an experience like Thelma and Louise. You know, I'm not saying you're going to drive off a cliff, but Thelma and Louise type thing where you bond greater, deeper, in a more powerful way due to some circumstance that you find yourself in. 11th house energy, and it'll be sudden and it'll be unexpected. This is Uranus with the sun. Sudden, unexpected friendships that are bonded or that end or whatever, but it's going to be triggered by this connection of the two, Sun and Uranus. So big changes regarding friendships, also regarding social groups and social networks. You might find that you've been part of a social group for a long time, and suddenly their perspective shifts, or you find out that this social group that you're part of, it's really not as authentic and true and honest as you thought it was. Maybe there's some crummy depths there, and you decide to go your own way. Or maybe you discover a group. There might be some sort of a movement or a political movement or a political belief system that you decide to align yourself with. Hopefully it's a good one and not one of the corrupt ones that's going to get torn apart by the conjunction of these guys. But you might find some sort of humanitarian movement as well that you can really align with, and you suddenly like, yeah, these are my people. I feel like I've found where I belong, and there can be a big change regarding your connections with large groups of people. So that it's going to make you more authentic, it's going to make you more liberated, it's going to free you, because that's what Uranus does, and the sun's going to trigger that Uranian energy to really amp up. And you're going to be more creative as well with the relationships that you do have in your life with friends and co-workers and large groups of people. You might be a bit more original. You might be looking for friends who are more original, a bit more unique, a bit more authentic. And you might discover new friendships that are during this time. You might discover new friendships that with people, particularly male figures, that are a bit more captivating and intriguing. Uranus is the captivating and intriguing, and the sun is male figures. And of course we're in the house of friendships here. So you might develop friendships with captivating and intriguing male figures, particularly the more paternal type male figures, you know, the sort of the mentor type, although mentors is usually Jupiter, but people who are in kind of that fatherly role, you know, so that can be really amped up as well. This is also the house of that's connected to, just lost my train of thought, to your rewards and gains for the work that you put in, and so you can have a sudden feeling of achievement with your career. Sun is sometimes connected to career, and Uranus is sudden, and we're in the house of the rewards and gains we can receive. You might have a sudden piece of recognition, sudden bit of notoriety, sudden bit of fame that comes your way with in front of large groups of people, or at work. There's a reward for work you've done in over the past few months, maybe for the seeds you've sown at the new moon. There can be a reward that plays out. So big change. It's going to be freeing, it's going to be liberating, and it's a great time for getting creative with your dreams and your goals as well. Doing some brainstorming about how you're going to achieve what you want in life, and you get some light bulb moments about how to really make it happen, how to creatively head along the road you need to go in order to make your dreams and goals manifest. You're going to have some insights, some wisdom regarding these sorts of things, and they may even come from these male figures that I mentioned, that provide you with the inspiration that you need to head creatively down the road you've got to go on. So let's make a look at Leo. Now the sun rules Leo, so this is for you Leo rising people, this is the energy of your ruling planet combining with Uranus. So it's kind of double whammy for you guys. It's playing out in your 10th house, but it's also the ruler of your 1st house. So the energy is going to be quite, has the potential to be more felt and more noticed by Leo rising people. So in the 10th house, big change with career. You can experience a change in trajectory with career. You might get a promotion. You might also whatever happens, it's going to be freeing. It's going to be liberating for you. It's going to help you be more authentic in the workplace. The thing with the 10th house, it's not just connected to, well, in fact, you know, we often say, oh, the 10th house, it's career. And that conjures up images of working in a big high-rise office and climbing your way up the corporate ladder and all that. But that is not career for everybody. The true wordship, I suppose you'd call it, of the 10th house is where we long to leave a legacy and how we long to leave a legacy for the world. This is the legacy that we desire to leave. So I always use this illustration, actually, of say a young woman who's working as a barista. She's paying the bills by working as a barista. She's chatting to people. She enjoys her job. She loves it, but it's work. It pays the bills. It helps her to do what she wants to in life, and you know, pays the rent and stuff. And what she does is she grabs her guitar after work and goes down to the pub and plays music and tries to sell CDs that she's made, because the legacy she wants to leave the world is this beautiful ethereal music that she's created, you know, acoustically on her guitar, singing away like Norah Jones or something. This is the legacy that she wants to leave. That is her 10th house, not the barista, not the work, not the climbing the corporate ladder, not being head of a mining company. It's the legacy that you desire to leave the world. And so here we have Leo rising with this energy playing out in their 10th house, and it's all about the legacy they want to leave. There's going to be a big change, maybe a big shift. Maybe you've always wanted to leave a legacy of being the next Norah Jones and selling amazing, beautiful CDs. And that's maybe the legacy you wanted to leave. And maybe when the sun conjuncts, your ruling planet conjuncts with Uranus in the 10th house, you might get a shift that says, no, I think I want to now do this to be my legacy. Might be I want to actually be a fashion designer, because the music, I love it, but really my soul is happiest, my heart is happiest when I'm at the sewing machine designing fabulous new garments and clothes to wear. So there can be a big change, a big shift that helps you be more authentic to what you really want, to get in touch with the truth within you about the legacy that you want to leave the world and how you want to impact the world, as seen by the 10th house. You can be much more creative when this transit occurs. Regarding the legacy that you want to leave. You'll have new innovative ideas about how to work towards leaving that legacy that you want. Let's call it a career, whatever, it's the legacy. This is also the house of authority figures and bosses, people in charge, in rulership, high social status, because that's what a lot of people are aiming for in life. The legacy they want to leave is a position of influence on the, leave a, to be in a position of power and leave a legacy in the world. And so with that masculine energy here in the 10th house of the sun conjunct Uranus, you might find that the bosses or the influential authority figures in your life become more creative or unique or quirky even, and suddenly you discover new creative quirky authority figures in your life. Might be a boss, might be there's a CEO, and might be a manager of a department, and you get to know them, and it's like, my God, they're really left of center. I really like their energy. And you discover a new authority figure that is actually really quirky, really eccentric, really someone that you're like, yeah, I like them. That they feel in alignment with me. So these are the sort of things that we can notice. But it's going to be bring change to a very important house in your horoscope, and it will affect the ongoing journey of your body through life, because this is your the ruler of your first house, of your body's journey through life. For you Leo rising people, just so you know though, this does happen annually. It's not a rare alignment of the two. Just say you had Uranus transiting your natal sun position, that is a once in a lifetime experience. That doesn't happen frequently. This is annual. So the energy is there, but it's the build up, the weighting, the empowerment of that energy is not quite so intense as some other transits would be. So you'll notice it, but it might not be the whiz bang, suddenly I'm head of the company kind of energy that you might be expecting. Keep that in mind. All right, let's go on. We're moving rather slowly here, because I love to talk about astrology till the cows come home, as they say. Okay, Virgo rising, this is putting the energy in the 9th house. Well, the big emphasis here is the the energy of inspirational figures, mentors, and those fatherly-like figures. In some schools of astrology, this is considered the house of the father. In other schools, they consider the 10th house to be the house of the father. It all depends which way you lean and what you're interested in. But in this placement, this is mentors, this is inspirational figures, not authority figures so much, but inspirational figures, people who inspire you. And so there might be quirky men that inspire you. You might suddenly decide you want to read up all about Einstein, a very, or Nikola Tesla, a very Uranian type person. And you get inspired by reading up about this guy. Wow, what an incredible life he had, and didn't he do amazing things, and why haven't we utilized all his incredible inventions in the world, and so on and so on. That's another story. But you're going to be inspired by these quirky, creative, Uranian style individuals when you've got the Sun conjunct with Uranus in the 9th house of mentors and inspirational figures, gurus, people that you admire and respect. And so you might also, they might come into your life, you might discover somebody new who inspires you. It might also be somewhat of a freeing and liberating, maybe from a mentor who really wasn't helping you be your best self, wasn't helping you be authentic and real. This can be the case. There's many examples of people who've attached themselves to guru figures who were really doing the dirty on them and weren't authentic and weren't real. So Sun conjunct Uranus can trigger a liberation from those circumstances and a freedom from those circumstances. Of course, the 9th house is connected to religion as well, so there can be a period of enlightenment that occurs on this day regarding religious brainwashing or being sort of not authentic, not real, not in the truth with your beliefs. This is a house of beliefs. The 9th house is a house of beliefs. So Uranus is going to be transiting this house for you for the next 7 years, and so you will be liberating belief systems that are outworn, that don't serve you, that are not authentic and true and real, where you've had the wool pulled over your eyes. Uranus will set you free. Uranus will break the blockages that are there to true spirituality, and release you from being mired in outworn religion. So this is going to be enhanced on this day, this Uranian energy of releasing those blockages, allowing you to be free, and it'll probably come through some sort of a mentory kind of person, Sun masculine energy. There's also, so it's very freeing, and there might be a big change of direction with your thinking and your ideas regarding beliefs, regarding your knowledge and your wisdom and your ability to incorporate that into your life for your Virgo rising people. This is also a very lucky house. The 9th house is luck and good fortune. It's connected to the idea of Jupiter, and this connection of Uranus and the Sun is a highly creative one when the two combine, and so there might be a creative approach to making your own luck. Really, you might get inspiration about how you can, be a bit more lucky in life, so to speak. I'm not saying everyone runs out and buys a Tats Lotto ticket or anything like that, but you might actually, think, well, maybe if I invested in this company, you have to have something going on in your investment houses in the horoscope as well. But maybe if I invested in this company, then that could reap me some reward. And then this energy comes along and goes, boom, luck, good fortune. You've thought creatively, you've been a bit left of center with how you can, expand your luck. Boom, the energy comes back to bless you. So luck, you might notice a bit of luck and good fortune come your way on this day as well. 9th house, it's also the house of higher learning, where we can access wisdom that is not just about learning to be a hairdresser or a cabinet maker or using our hands. It's wisdom and knowledge that we access for up here. So you might with Uranus here develop an interest in astrology over the next 7 years, but the Sun coming into connection here can actually bring, like I said in the beginning, in the intro to this, new interests. So you might discover new avenues of astrology that you're fascinated by. You might get into astrology for the first time and start discovering, oh my God, this is actually real, this is true, this is a thing. And so if you're Virgo rising, you can expect new discoveries, new interests, new hobbies that can arise that involve higher learning, higher wisdom, and astrology is one of those things. Might be philosophy. You might discover it's a fabulous website, the School of Life, that's all about philosophies and the ideas of various philosophers in ancient times, and so on and so on. You might discover that and you develop a whole new interest in philosophy, and it becomes a new hobby for you or something. But anything involving higher learning that can become an interest and a hobby with the Sun conjunct Uranus. All right, let's move along. We're looking at Libra Rising now. Libra Rising is going to place this energy, whoa, too far, in the 8th house. The 8th house. Don't we love the 8th house? Well, captivating, unique male figures in the house of sex. Well, you might find yourself a new lover who's quite quirky and eccentric and experimental in the bedroom. Fun for you Librans. If you're a woman, or if you're a man for that matter as well. You might find a partner who's really wants to play. The Sun is playful energy. Uranus is experimental and quirky. So, you know, playfulness in the bedroom can certainly happen for you guys. Yeah, you're also going to be freed from other people's opinions sexually. So you're not going to be so hung up on, oh, you know, sex has to be this way or that way. You're going to be much more, well, I don't care. This is my life and my sexuality. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what I want. So there's freedom and liberation sexually that can come with this conjunction. Quite a really dynamic energy, these two. There can be dramatic changes to your views of sexuality, actually. You know, you might become a bit more liberated with your views and your ideas about what you can and can't do. And so, you know, it can be very, what's the word I'm looking for? I keep coming back to authentic, but you're going to be more in tune with your own sexuality because of this transit. This transit happens every year. It's an annual transit, but it doesn't always happen in your sign, your 8th house, I should say, Libra, the sign of Taurus, for you. So this is actually the first time that these two will connect in your sign, and in fact, they're only going to connect about 7 times in this sign during the transit of Uranus. So it's a 1 in 7 experience. 1 in 7, yeah, this is a 1 out of 7 experience that you'll have, sorry, Uranus and the Sun conjunct in Taurus, your 8th house. So throughout the next 7 years, this conjunction is going to serve to help liberate you, set you more free, make you more authentic sexually and psychologically too. It's the house of therapy, the house of our psychology. And so over the next 7 years of Uranus's transit here, when the Sun conjuncts in this house, you're going to notice more freedom, more not being so weighed down by other people's expectations and ideas. Can bring dramatic change to your sex life as well. So throughout this transit, you might notice suddenly your sex life gets more invigorated. Uranus is invigoration and excitement. So your sex life can really amp up with this connection and become you might become more enthusiastic. This is our life force. The Sun is the life force energy. Without it, we can't survive. So you're going to really see sex in a whole new way, and your whole life force energy will be directed there over the coming month of the Sun's transit through Taurus. So yeah, you can expect invigoration, change, more life force energy directed towards your sexuality. Also towards, as I alluded to a moment ago, therapy. The 8th house is healing through therapy, and we all need to do this. I really am a big believer in therapy for the long haul, for the long term, is very cathartic and very healing for people. So I feel that with these two together here, undertaking some form of therapy that enables you to be freed, become more authentic, and creative therapy is going to be particularly triggered for you guys. So things like art therapy, dance therapy, music therapy, or anything tactile. This is in the sign of Taurus that this is all happening. Anything that's about being tactile or being out in nature, going and sitting and meditating by a stream or in the woods or something like that is going to be very, very helpful for you guys, especially around this time, because this energy of the 8th house and Uranus is alternative therapies, The eighth house is therapy, Uranus is alternative, and the sun, it's about being creative. So creative alternative therapies, art therapy, music therapy, these sorts of things that are creative and they're not mainstream. Go and pay a fortune to a psychologist. These are therapies that are healing for you. This is a good thing to do if you're Libra rising. It's a great day to get going. I'm not saying do it once and then don't do it. You need to do it for the long haul, and you'll find that you'll establish a really good pattern that has the capacity to really help you up level and release eighth house traumas and wounds. This is the house where we hold on to and cling on to our traumas and wounds karmically or from this incarnation. And that's why therapy, it's also the house of therapy, because that's what can help us release these traumas and wounds. And you're going to want to do it in authentic, unique ways, quirky ways, or left of center ways, and the sun will bring creativity into the mix too for you guys. So a good time to embark on a life journey with therapy. Libra rising goes now to Scorpio rising. For Scorpio rising people, this energy is falling in, well, the 7th house. So you can, you guys, oh, I'll have to hold it. You guys can actually have someone captivating and a unique male figure come into your life. Now, this is the house of relationships. I'm not saying you're going to have have a relationship with someone who's like a father figure to you. That's actually not a healthy relationship to have. But you can have just a general relationship. Somebody can come into your life who's like a father figure to you. The sun with Uranus, and it can come in suddenly, and it will be liberating, it will be empowering. So if you've been somebody who's been a bit like an orphan in life, where you haven't had that father role model, maybe you were raised by a single mom, or you were you've been disconnected from your family or something, you can have somebody enter into your life who can fill that father figure void, because the 7th house, even though the 10th house and the 9th house represent father figures, the 7th house is our relationships. And we all go, yeah, marriage, etc. But it's not just marriage. It is bosses, our business partnerships, our contractual partnerships. It's relationships with others in a very basic sense. This is the house of us. This is, or you, this is me. First house, that's my body's journey through life. Over here, that's other people. All other people are generally seen through the 7th house. It's other people because it's opposite to us, me. So here with the sun, which represents father figures, masculine father figures, in the 7th house, you might actually find somebody comes into your life suddenly. Uranus is sudden and unexpected, who is something of a father figure to you, that patriarchal figure. And even if you've got a father figure in your life, well, how wonderful to have one more, Maybe you get a business partnership that is established at this time. This is the house of business partnerships. And the business partner you're going to work with, he is actually a bit fatherly towards you. How nice. Maybe you work from home like I do, and you need someone to manage your tech and your IT. And so you hire a consultant to come in and set up your tech and your IT. And because Uranus rules those things, I might add. And this person comes in and they're really fatherly, and they're really, they're like a big daddy person to you, and it's really lovely. And you develop a business partnership with somebody who is quite fatherly and has that father figure. So that's one scenario of how this energy could actually play out for anyone who has Scorpio rising. But whoever they are, they're going to be either come into your life unexpectedly because of Uranus, or they're going to be quite quirky and independently minded, very, very different, maybe a bit left of center. You might also experience big change with relationships because of this, and maybe change with a father figure. So, if you're Scorpio rising, maybe there'll be a change in dynamic with a father figure person. So, it doesn't have to actually be your actual father, but anyone in that patriarchal kind of position. You might find, I'm just trying to think of a good example, maybe a father figure suddenly leaves your life, and might not be for detrimental reasons. Maybe, you live in Melbourne, and your father decides he's going to move to Cairns, the other end of the country. So there can be big shifts and big changes with the father when this energy arrives in the house of relationship. So it can be locational, or it can even be just in ordinary life. Suddenly, you know, you're both living in Melbourne, let's say, and Dad goes and gets himself a new job, and suddenly he's too busy to spend as much time with you and the kids that he used to do. So big changes can occur with this connection here. The father figure with the sudden change planet in the house of relationships. So let's take a look at Sagittarius. Sagittarius rising, again, I've got to hold the board because Sagittarius likes to wander. I'm just astounded that the board is a bit loose on Gemini and Sagittarius. Of all the signs that it chooses to go for a wander on, those two. The universe, gotta love it. Sagittarius rising is going to put this energy in the 6th house. So you can experience big change with regards to your health and well-being, to your daily routines, to your work. And this is the house where if you are working as a barista to pay the bills, or you're working in an office or something, this is where we look to find that energy. It's what you do to pay the bills, to get by, to make ends meet. It's not actually, the 6th house is not connected with so much your worldly aspirations for achievement. Okay? So it's your daily work. What you do to, why you get up in the morning to go and, you know, pay that electricity bill that's skyrocketing and going through the roof if you live in Australia. So here, with the Sun and Uranus meeting in Taurus, big change regarding work. So you might find that you get the chance to change jobs. That could happen. You might get a chance to, you know, develop a better relationship with your employee, other employees. So you know, this is the house of people who are working with us. You know, what's it called? Our co-workers. Oh, sorry, mental block. This is the house of our co-workers. So we can have a sudden dynamic change in our relationship to our co-workers for some reason. But whatever happens, it's going to be freeing, it's going to be liberating, because that's what Uranus is here to do. So maybe you have been stuck in a situation for years at work, and it's, you know, being exploited, or the boss doesn't treat you well, or whatever, and you and your co-workers say, radio, you know, let's liberate ourselves from this situation. And you go and approach maybe the boss, or the father figure of the company, if you like, and you go and approach them and create some change. You know, you and your co-workers, or maybe the health matters. Sagittarius people with Taurus here are going to be experiencing alternative approaches to health over the next 7 years that they might desire to put into place. So with the Sun here, you might actually get more creative about how you deal with your health. You might be triggered to say, go and see a naturopath. You've never seen a naturopath in your life before. But this is Taurus. We're talking about natural remedies, natural, you know, earth-based things. And Uranus is alternative measures, and the Sun is creative measures. Okay, you go and see a naturopath, or you go and see maybe an energy healer, because the Sun is our life force energy. So you could go and utilize an energy healer to help you with your health issues or something. Or somebody really unique and quirky, maybe somebody shamanic or something, might come into your life who offers a therapeutic solution or a healing solution to a health issue that you've got. And you know, around this time, it could be a sort of a father figure or a masculine figure that offers you this. And so if you find that around this time, on this day, the 23rd of April, if some masculine figure comes into your life and saying, hey, look, I know you've got this health issue and I've got a solution for you, then pay attention, because that is the universe's energy giving you opportunity there. Masculine figures, alternative healing. Sorry, masculine figures, the Sun, alternative healing, Uranus in Taurus, 6th house. Whatever happens, it's going to free you. It's going to make your health and your workplaces more liberated, more authentic, more real. It can come through dramatic change. It'll be sudden, and like I said in the intro, the Sun is dramatic, oh woe is me, and Uranus is sudden, bang, light bulb, and it's happened. So you can have sudden dramatic change in these realms in some way over the next, well, it's going to be instigated on the 23rd, but it might play out for a couple of days afterwards as well. All right, let's move on and take a look at Capricorn Rising. This energy then will be in the 5th house for you guys. So big dramatic change can occur for you guys in the 5th house of love, and relationships, well, dating, courtship. This is the house that is connected to anything creative self-expression. And if you think about all the things that the fifth house rules, it rules children, it rules love and romance and dating, it rules pleasure and fun and joy. These are creative endeavors. Creating a child, my God, you can't get more creative than that. Going on a date, you've got to put creative energy into creating a beautiful, get my words out, momentous experience that will be remembered by your partner. You know, dating and courtship, that's a very creative endeavor. And also, what have we got? Children, relationships, and pleasures and fun and hobbies. Well, there we go, creativity to the max. You know, your hobbies, what you like to do, usually involve some sort of creativity, whether it be gardening, whether it be woodworking, whether it be sewing on your sewing machine, or whether it be, you know, doing astrology. You've got to think creatively, you've got to work creatively on your hobbies. So here we can have new and original and unique creative approaches to all these things, to our love life, to our children, to our hobbies. So you might be a bit quirky and unique. Suddenly you get a hit that's like, oh, I could write a book about this quirky storyline or whatever. Or, you know, I could do some sort of a, you know, I mean, my hobby is sewing. I could sew this outfit, you know, I could do a version of this particular dress out of this old 1950s movie, and I could make it like this. And you're quirky and you think of left of center and you make it uniquely your own. You get really quirky and unique and individual with your hobbies and your ideas and your creative expression. Or you get really quirky and unique and creative with the date that you're going to take your partner on, or, you know, something that you're doing in relationship. Yeah, so you come up with new, innovative, progressive even ways of doing dating and relationship, partnership, boyfriend, girlfriendship, if you want to call it that. Or your children. Like, I mean, this is the sun in the fifth house is a very creative placement. So it's a really creative transit for you guys who have Capricorn rising. And Uranus here is just going to exacerbate that, like make it so creative. You're going to be very, very creative about what you do with your kids, how you interact with your kids, how you play with your kids. You're going to, you know, have some great ideas for connection with children at this time. And there might be big changes that come your way because of this creative interaction. Maybe you've been out of sorts with your children for a while. Maybe they've been a bit... screw you, mum and dad, you don't know what you're on about, and I know what I want in my life, and you can't tell me what to do, and, you know, that sort of thing. And then along comes this energy, and suddenly there's big change. You guys, you start to connect. You go out for a walk in nature together, or you go for a, you know, a picnic or a bushwalk or something. Taurus is nature, and suddenly, all unexpectedly, there's a connection between you guys, between your children and yourself, that happens unexpectedly on this day through the invigoration of this creative energy and the energy for big dramatic change. So you can really turn a difficult situation with children or with lovers even around through the connection of these two playing out. Just checking my notes. Yeah, and of course this energy is very much about being freed from worrying about other people's opinions, particularly the opinions of people sort of in authority over us. So if your children have been being limited in life, not being able to access as much creatively as you would like them to, when this transit occurs, suddenly they might not care so much what their peers think anymore, and they might become a bit more independent thinkers, a bit more like, yeah, all my friends, my peers, they're all going and doing drugs or whatever, and I'm not going to do that, you know. I'm gonna move in the other direction. There can be innovative, big change that's going to make in your children's lives, that's going to make them more authentic, more free, more liberated, and set them more on a path to their future. So this actually is a really good transit to have if you've got children who are struggling and who are going through difficulty. This can really liberate them and help them to access their own sense of self-confidence and self-worth and creative expression. So for all you guys who are Capricorn rising, who've got kids who are struggling, you can really support them on this day, get behind them, go and spend some time together, and you might find that things really shift for your children regarding the relationships they have in their life, particularly with peers, and also with themselves, and the relationship they have with their own self-confidence can be really revolutionized. Uranus is revolution, and if you've got a child who's struggling, that's what can happen. You can revolutionize their self-confidence if you work with the energy on this day. All right, Capricorn to Aquarius, we're almost there. Look at us go. Okay, Aquarius energy is putting this in the 4th house. The 4th house is the house of our family, our heritage, our roots, and our lineage. So this is where things are going to be revolutionized. This is where things are going to be freed up, particularly with our father figures in a parenting sense, not just the patriarchal figures in our life, but our actual father, because even like the 10th house is connected to the father, and as is the 9th house, but the 4th house is connected to parents. So your actual masculine parents, you can experience big change with them. Maybe you haven't spoken to your dad in months, and along comes this transit and a big change occurs, and you start to, you know, dad reaches out to you and you connect again, and you start communicating again, and it can be sudden, it can be unexpected. The connection with your lineage, particularly the more masculine parental lineage that you have, can be triggered at this time. So you might be freed or liberated in some way by but paternal lineage that you have rather than the maternal. This is a house of the mother, but it's also the house of, like I said, our lineage, our heritage, our roots, and our parents. So when the sun is here, the planet of the father, we're looking at the lineage, the heritage, the roots of the father, the paternal line that is going to influence us. And so we can be freed and liberated in our life, that's Uranus, by our paternal line in some way. So that could be your dad's mum, although there is another house that correlates to grandparents, a couple of different houses that correlate to grandparents, but the lineage is the 4th house, and so somebody in your lineage, some masculine figure in your lineage even, can come in and liberate you and set you free from outworn thinking patterns and behaviors, from ideas that have held you back. It's about breaking you free. Uranus is about breaking you free, so that can happen. It'll likely to be quite dramatic change with the sun involved as well. Yeah, you might even get I'm just trying to think of examples, sorry about this. It's going to be quite deep for you guys, because this is a very deep house. It's the 4th house. It's the house that's lowest on for Aquarius rising people, the house that was lowest. So there can be some invigorating change to your deep emotional life as well, deep within. It's not so much karma, it's more the subconscious realms of your life, the deep bit of the iceberg below the water, so to speak. Yeah, look, that's probably your home as well is seen. I should have mentioned your home is the 4th house too, so you might get creative in your home in some way. You might be you decide to express yourself in your home in a very quirky, eccentric way. You might buy a new artwork or something that's really quite left of center, you know, some sort of decor item or piece of furniture or renovation that you decide you're going to do to your home, that can be very Uranian, very quirky, and very sun, very creative, really, really creative, and about expressing yourself creatively through your home space, through your bricks and mortar home. Okay, the next thing we want to look at, last one, Pisces rising. Okay, 3rd house. Right, this is where we speak. This is where we talk. This is where we communicate. So Pisces rising people are going to be able to create. They're going to be able to speak in creative ways, communicate in very liberating ways, very authentic ways. So if you're a Pisces rising person who has a speaking platform, this is the time, or if you write and publish, you know, a book, or you do a blog or a web page or anything like that, if you communicate in any way, if you're Pisces rising, or you're a teacher of some sort, all these things play into the same energy. If you're in advertising or marketing and you're Pisces rising, this energy is going to affect you by helping you be more creative in your communication, and in a really eccentric, sort of quite brilliant way. So now's the time this week coming, brainstorm ideas. If you get an idea, oh, that's a video I could do for YouTube, oh, I could write a story about this, oh, look, I think I might start an Instagram post that's a bit like this, and write down, brainstorm, because you're going to get a lot of mental ideas now. Uranus is in your third house. The mental downloads, the intellectual downloads are going to be on overdrive and turbocharged for you guys for the next 7 years. And so the sun here is going to enable you to be even more creative regarding that. You'll also get a lot of self-confidence out of expressing your creative ideas or your insights or the wisdom that comes in downloads from Uranus. You're going to have creative ideas about how you can communicate that, how you can express that, and it's going to be great for your self-confidence to do so as well, if you happen to be Pisces rising. You're not going to be so worried about other people's opinions. What will they say if I speak up about what I really think is going on collectively with Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node? You know, the worry or the fear or the concern about what others might think is going to be out of there, and you're going to put yourself out with the words you speak and the communication that you make. Things might need to be said. Just checking my notes, sorry. You might even be a bit creative and experimental with the way you're doing this as well. So you might test a few different ideas. You know, try putting a new Instagram, you know, post out to people, or you try doing a different style of YouTube video, or you've always done a certain ad for a certain company in a certain way, and this transit comes along and you're like, I think let's try and communicate this in a different manner and with a message that reaches a different demographic perhaps. You know, you're going to experiment, you're going to dabble in new ways of communicating and reaching people. Yeah, you'll also be a bit more instinctive about how you communicate too, which is good. For you guys, Pisces rising people, you need to watch out for foot in mouth with the old Mercury in Aries. Yep, and this energy, Uranus, is kind of, you know, switching you on electrically as well about your communication. So you need to be wise about how you communicate. But generally, there can be big change brought to your personal life and also to the world through what you speak out now, Pisces people. And it can be freeing, it can be liberating for you and for others. And you're going to be very creative about how you do so, how you speak your truth to the world. Yeah, so my message would be, don't worry too much about what people will think. Be true, be authentic, be real to you. But also, because Mercury's in Aries, act with a bit of tact and integrity. Pisces rising people usually are that way anyhow, so I'm sure you'll be fine. So that's the energies that I see playing out for all the signs this coming week. It's an exciting week, and it's an adventurous week. There's a lot of shifts of energy, so we keep on going up the spiral as we head towards our evolution, and this is just another step in the journey. Let me close with a prayer and and conclude. Universal energy of love, thank you that there are some big shifts coming our way this week, and we are, well, for those of us who like change, we welcome it and we embrace it, and we know that it's going to be for our highest good. Make us wise and integrous with our communication. Help us to really listen to our higher self and our instincts, so that we can make wise choices with our words and our communication, and in the way we live our lives each day. Thank you that you support us and that you've got our back, and help us to trust that even when times seem tough. And so it is. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll have a new message for you on the Astro Weather Report next week.